Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the February 28th meeting of the Barnstable Licensing Authority. My name is David Nunheimer. I'm the chair of this authority. The meeting is being televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel on the Town of Barnstable website. If anyone is this meeting is being recorded in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20. If anyone else is recording this meeting, I would need them to identify themselves now. Seeing none, we will move on first with respect to a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of October 16th, 2023.
Yeah. I'm going to do public comment, Lena.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the first matter we'll call is an application by Pont d'Avion, DBA Pont d'Avion Cafe Boulangerie, 15 Hinckley Road, Hyannis, for an alteration of the licensed premises to include a 1,100 square foot addition connected to the existing restaurant and adding 18 seats. The room will include a pizza bar, coffee roaster, small service bar, 2 standing height tables, and 12 counter height stools, 1 handicap accessible bathroom. Mr. Ford, welcome.
Hey, good morning. Attorney Jeff Ford here representing the applicant Pont d'Avion Cafe. As indicated, they're expanding a additional dining area at the existing restaurant. It's 18 seats. It's 12 raised table seats and 6 bar seats. We've been through site plan review. We have a filing with the ZBA, and we were sent there only because we're adding 12 additional parking spaces from the airport, which we have an exclusive lease for. And the building commissioner sent us because it's off-street parking, so he's having us get a special permit for that. So our understanding is, Aaron, I know, was on site plan, that the license would be held if it comes in before we get the special permit approval.
And just to clarify one thing, the plan reflects that there's 1 ADA accessible table, is that correct?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yep, that was on the plan, and I know we've also worked very closely with the lift for ADA purposes. We actually had to get a variance from the state for that, so that's been vetted out for the entranceway and everything with the state in addition to the town. So,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
Mr. Flores.
Yeah, where is that off-site parking going to be?
So the off-site parking, if you have the, I don't know if I can come up. Do you mind if I come up? I don't know if we submitted.
That's not it, John.
Yeah, this is the site plan. So these are the 12 spaces. It's right across the street.
Is that calling for any additional handicap parking?
No, it was not for those.
So,
Let me go back. Hear me?
See where he is?
So they're, right across the
airport.
street, and they've got an exclusive lease for those 12.
They released these 12 from the airport.
but they're in the airport parking lot.
Yep,
So one would walk from the airport parking lot across the street and,
yep,
Got it,
it's
okay.
right across the roadway, and we only needed 2 additional parking spaces for the 18 seats. They chose to get 12 just because they wanted to get some more parking
I
for
asked,
this.
I'm on the airport commission, I haven't seen this. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's what I've been told by them, so it's a 12-space lease.
Does anybody else have any questions? Mr. Anthony, welcome. I'm sorry I did not introduce everybody at the beginning. Let me do that. And we have, to my right, John Flores. To his right, Mr. Larry Decker and Ms. Nancy Carlson-Lidman. And I'm sorry, I'm going to forget your name. Jessica Solon. To my left, we have David Anthony and Officer Perry. Kelsey Perry. And our great assistant licensing,
Aaron Logan.
I know that one. Aaron Logan.
Good morning. Several years ago, there was put into place a right-of-way use license with the town manager
Yep.
that restructured the parking lot. It striped off some areas where parking could not happen. There have been times when that's been enforced by the applicant, and times where, I mean, if you go on the couple of the aerial aerials, you can see where their cars parked in those striped areas. Is there any impact at all to the parking that it's in that immediate parking lot? Any changes to that right-of-way license that need to be done through the town manager?
No, they weren't changing any of those. We had BSC do a new plan, and they called out all those spaces on the plan.
Okay.
The plan that I just turned in, I can email one if it's helpful, so you guys can blow it up. But they did not change those spaces. Those are staying, and they've been called out on the plan by BSC, so.
Very good. We'll be in touch with your office, I would assume. We need to kind of reinvigorate that program. Going through COVID, we let those kind of settle. But now that things are returning to some sort of normal, we do need to reinvigorate that program.
Sure, and we're happy to sit down or have you out to the site and walk around, whatever's easier.
Very
So,
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one other observation. Where they're parking those cars where they cross, that's a very busy intersection. You have people coming down Airport Road, they're going to BJ's, they're going into, down towards the Rotary. There's no crosswalk there, it's just an open street, so I'm concerned about that from a safety perspective.
I think we can maybe take that up with the building commissioner and get some recommendation. If that's a situation where striping needs to happen or potentially a sign, we can certainly look into that.
Okay, yeah,
I
we're
mean,
happy.
it's a confluence of basically 3 intersections
Yep.
with a lot of people, a lot of cars crisscrossing.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anyone from the public wish to speak to this application? Seeing none, Mr. Decker.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application filed by Payne Davion 2, Inc., DBA Payne Davion Cafe Boulangerie for an alteration of licensed premises to include an 1,100 square foot addition, including one ADA accessible table as submitted with a condition that the applicant receives approval of a special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals with respects to the off-site parking.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck.
Hey, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
The next matter is an application filed by MCRH Hyannis LLC, DBA The Roadhouse Cafe, 4088 South Street in Hyannis, for a new annual all-alcohol common victual license. Ricardo Contrado Jr. is the proposed manager. Proposed hours of food and alcohol services from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. with a seating capacity of 180 seats. Mr. Lawler.
Good morning. Thank you. As you know, David Lawler, on behalf of MCRH Hyannis LLC. I think we're all familiar with the Roadhouse Cafe that had been operated up and through COVID by Dave Colombo, one of the finest establishments in the town, and a great food operator. This now has been under agreement, and if approved, will be sold to MCRH, who also, the people that run that also operate and run another fine restaurant on Main Street, El Torino. And Ricardo here has been managing and operating I think, what, 4 years now?
8 years.
Oh, 8 years, sorry. And has been handling that operation, is very familiar with the liquor law rules and regulations, is tip certified, is food safe, serve safe. The operation, the hours are within the applicant consistent with past operations at the Roadhouse. The menu will be slightly changed, but significant. A lot of the items that have been loved over the years will remain. Other ones will be added. The parking situation is, there's ample parking there. And I can go on and on about the Roadhouse, but
Please, no.
that's why, thank you.
We all know.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to stop talking and field any questions you might have.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just have one. You're moving from Torino's to Roadhouse?
I'll be doing,
Or doing both?
but mostly Roadhouse.
Primary, and one of the advantages with staffing issues and things of that nature now that, people can bounce back and forth, but his primary responsibility, we've talked about that, is the Roadhouse because he will be, is the listed manager, and we'll be managing that, and
So will a new manager be coming for the Torinos?
We have about 3 managers.
no, so Torino's is well-staffed and ready to go, and
No,
they're-
it's always been well-run, I just want
Yeah.
to confirm.
so that's the situation.
Anyone from the public wish to speak to
I mean,
this?
Mr.
Oh, I'm
Anthony
sorry,
has a
Mr.
question.
Anthony. I'm losing my peripheral left vision.
Parking's always been a challenge at that location. There's been, I mean, there's the gravel parking lot, but that tends to not be sufficient on a busy night. So have you reinstituted any arrangements as to where off-site parking might be, or overflow parking, or are you relying on street parking for that
I
location?
mean, there's street parking, they're planning on, I think, redoing the lot a little bit and striping it, so they'll get more vehicles into the lot itself, which will also, I know that the town's sometimes not always happy when some of that gravel in the wintertime winds up in the street or through the cars. So that's the long-intended plan. They're going to be exploring some of the past relationships that Mr. Colombo had, but there's nothing definitive at this point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Chair, if I may, just to clarify for the record, the proposed manager today is not the licensed manager at Torino's. He might be in a management capacity, but he is not on their license.
I'm sorry if that was,
That's
that was
my
my
question.
fault for not being clear.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification.
Are they going to use the parking lot across the street?
They're going to use the parking on site and street parking, and they're going to make some other arrangements as the summer goes, which I think that they will. I mean,
My
Mr.
understanding
Colombo-
is they're going to use the parking lot across the street for valet parking. Is that correct, Mr. Carpenter?
I was unaware, are they using the parking?
Yeah, Dave used to lease that
I think
parking lot
there's some
across the South
conversations,
Street.
yeah, I think there's going to be some conversations, but that hasn't happened yet, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Officer Kelsey?
I see in the application that it states that the entertainment license will be coming before this authority in the next meeting in March. I would make a recommendation that this application also be held until March, so that we can see what the entertainment application and the alcohol application is at the same time.
We have very tight closing deadlines, and that was not not an issue of ours. It was submitted with the application. There was a bit of a, I don't want to say who, but there was a bit of a mess up. This is critical that it be approved for us. There's certain deadlines for the seller with certain tax issues and things of that nature that make it very critical. The license we're looking for entertainment is simply just, was in the past, they had a piano, and I think that they've had someone come in and sing next to the piano, like Frank Sinatra and things like that. This is not turning into a nightclub under any circumstances. I've had conversations with Lieutenant Murphy for years, the difference between a lounge and a nightclub, back and forth. Bring a smile to my face, going back and forth with him. But this is essentially the exact operation as the Roadhouse had been in the past. Back in the day, Dave's dad would come in and play saxophone, and there'd be a piano. He's no longer with us, but obviously we're looking to have the same type of situation. This is not any type of weekend entertainment. You'll see that in the application. We're not looking to do any no nightclub. This is strictly a restaurant with some singing and things like that.
And that sounds wonderful. And I'm very familiar with what the Roadhouse was. The concern that I have is that it turning into a nightclub down the road. Whereas I know from looking at history, when Torino came before this board, it's a family restaurant. It's not going to be a nightclub. It's turned into something very much different than that right now. There's neighbors around there. There's condos right across the street. Having a DJ blasting music out the windows at 10 o'clock at night even is going to be a problem for the police department, for noise complaints, and that's something that we have to consider.
Well, you can consider that respectfully when the entertainment license becomes before you. It's such a critical component to the seller to get this moving. I think that people are familiar with certain tax when you sell a piece of real estate and you have a certain period of time. So I don't want to get into his business, but it's no fault of the applicant that we're here now, and this isn't lined up. and and this board has the same power with respect to the license, entertainment license, whether the liquor license is before them or not. So,
I'm familiar with that.
yeah, so I just would say that I respectfully ask that the liquor license be approved, because the sale can happen with a liquor license because you have to go through Boston, you got to do ABCC and all those things. And that timeline, if we were to lengthen it even by a couple of weeks, could be extraordinarily detrimental to an individual financially, and we'd ask you not to do that.
So, using your words, you brought up that it's going to be more of a piano bar, jazz, a saxophone, a piano, someone singing. We shouldn't anticipate that entertainment license having a DJ and live bands?
I didn't prepare for the entertainment license because I didn't think it was going to be before me tonight, but we'll address that in the end of the month. But I don't, you're not looking, we're not, no, yeah, there's no DJ.
Sure.
Yeah, no, yeah, we can put in 2 weeks, we can put restrictions on that. We just want to get the liquor license.
I understand that. What I'm looking for is,
I think this was not advertised, and I don't believe we can have this discussion any further. I'm sorry, yeah, I just, it's inappropriate.
As to
have a
the
conversation.
entertainment license, you're saying?
Correct. And I will say for the record, too, I had duplicate entertainment license applications out there. The applicant did apply in time, and that was my error. I didn't catch it in the old system we were using.
Okay.
And I think
Erin,
certainly they are independent applications.
I will say I've been dealing with Erin for years, and she's absolutely spot on, and it was kind of a confusing situation with 2 separate portals, so this is one of those things that happen. She's fantastic.
And I'm not negating what Officer Kelsey is saying in the slightest bit. It's unfortunate, it hasn't been advertised to have that discussion right now. We have to have it at a public hearing.
all right, fair enough.
So I'd ask this board consider our approval and.
So let me just make sure I understand for the record the issue, that without the approval of this license, the closing cannot occur, and the seller would miss important favorable tax deadlines if it were continued to March.
That is correct.
All right. I'll entertain a motion or any conversation. Well, actually, let me go back. Does anybody else have any questions, comments?
No, just a comment. I think we can take this up today and deal with the entertainment license down the road.
Does anybody from the public wish to speak to this application? Seeing none, Mr. Decker.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application of MCRH Hyannis Inc., DBA, the Roadhouse Cafe, for a new annual all-alcohol common victor license as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, and I'll
Good
see you in a
luck.
couple of weeks on the on the entertainment license, and we'll talk ahead of
We
time.
can hardly wait.
Thank you.
I love jazz.
His sincerity is heartwarming.
The next application has been filed by JAG Restaurant Group LLC, DBA The Raw Bar on Ocean Street, 213 Ocean Street, Hyannis, for a new seasonal all-alcohol common victualler license. John Dini, is the proposed manager. Proposed hours of food and alcohol service are 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. with a seating capacity of 64 seats inside and 98 outside. The applicant is also seeking a live entertainment license for up to 3 amplified performers with entertainment hours Thursday through Sunday, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Counsel.
Hi, my name is Jessica Summer. I'm with the law firm of Dunn & Crane, McNichols & Garner, and Mashpee. I'm representing John Guardiani, who is stepping in as the new manager tenant of the Raw Bar on Ocean Street, which is, of course, located in the Hyannis Harbor Hotel. John is a longtime colleague of Bobby Weeks, who was the former manager and tenant of the Raw Bar. And so we are just looking to have a new license, seasonal license issued to John in his new capacity. He worked with Mr. Weeks all of last year, understands the running of the operation, and can speak to exactly. He is planning to keep everything virtually the same as it was last year. Same menu, same hours, and so we're just looking to step in as he is the new manager.
So, John, you understand, and with respect to the entertainment issues, that there's a neighborhood there, and you need to be mindful of the ambient sound radiating out there. Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Flores?
Hey, just a quick question. As I drive by there, there's a lot of construction going on there.
That'll be done.
When will that be done?
That'll be done by May.
By May? Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Chair, I had a formality. If we can just accept the request for non-renewal of the seasonal license from Mr. Weeks first, before we make the motion to approve the new license. The state considers that license is in force, even though it expired on January 15th. So the license that was previously held by Lobster Girl and Lobster Boy technically needs to be accepted as a non-renewal first.
Thank you, Erin.
Yep, you got it.
Did you get that, Mr. Decker?
No, I didn't.
All right, so I'll make a motion that the currently outstanding license for Lobster Girl and Lobster Boy for the premises that are indicated in this application would be canceled.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How about a motion on this one, Mr. Decker, please?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application filed by JAG Restaurant Group LLC, DBA Raw Bar on Ocean Street for a new seasonal all-alcohol common victor license, as well as daily live and non-live entertainment license as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Well, let me go. Application's been filed by the Hyannis LSOF Operating LLC, DBA Margaritaville Resort, Cape Cod, 1225 Iano Road, Hyannis, to amend the DBA from Cape Codder Restaurant to Margaritaville Resort, Cape Cod. The application calls for an alteration of the licensed premises to change the location of beverage outlets as follows. Hearth and Kettle would be replaced by Landshark. The Crew would be replaced by Joe Merchants. The deck to be replaced by Landshark Deck. And the gazebo to be replaced by Feeding Frenzy. Ballroom will stay a ballroom. And finally, they will be adding a bar at the outdoor pool deck. The number of guest rooms will be increased from 261 to 276. Morning, Council.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Elizabeth Pisano from Upton, Connell, and Devlin on behalf of the licensee. This application is to first change the DBA name from the Cape Codder Resort to Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod. And we are also applying to alter the premises. As you stated, the hotel guest rooms and public spaces will have interior renovations. They'll be adding 15 new rooms and taking away 2 meeting rooms. There are currently 5 food and beverage outlets, and that will be altered within the existing footprint. And we're seeking to add 1 outdoor outlet, so there'll be 6 total. This is a $22 million investment project that has many benefits to the community without increasing the square footage of the premises or the use or the entertainment. Everything within the entertainment license is staying the same. The hours are staying the same. This is still going to be a family-friendly destination, and we're really excited to undergo and make all of these changes. And I can go into the details of each part of the premises if you'd like, or I can just answer any specific questions that you have.
Well, I think the first specific question would be really adding the outdoor pool deck, which, or the bar at the outdoor pool deck, which obviously will have some entertainment with respect to it. What are the proposed hours of operation of the outdoor?
It will stay exactly the same. So the where the proposed bar is, in where the pool next to the pool, that will have the same exact hours as what is currently used at the deck. And there will be no live entertainment at the pool. It will just be background music. There will not be any live music at the pool area. There will be live music where the deck is, or the current deck is, but that bar will now be inside. So there will only be one outdoor bar after all of this, and there will only be one place for live entertainment, which is at the deck. And it is surrounded by buildings, and it'll be 1 to 2 pieces. It's not going to, the noise levels aren't going to change. We will still comply with all of the noise ordinances. Again, it's a family-friendly destination. I have a 1 and 3-year-old, and when they go to bed at 7:30, I go to bed with them, and I know a lot of other parents are the exact same way. So it's not like, live music is going to be blaring at 10 p.m. and later. The hours will be exactly the same. We're not asking to extend that. We know the police station is right next door, so you will be the first ones to hear anything. Everything will remain the
24
same.
hours a day.
What?
We're awake 24 hours a day.
Well, maybe you'll hear. I don't know. I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but no, we will. Nothing is changing. Entertainment-wise, it's going to be the exact same thing. There will still be only one bar outside. It's just changing from the deck that will be going inside, and the outdoor pool area will be adding one bar there, with no live entertainment at that space.
I thought parrot heads didn't sleep. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I do.
I wonder if you could tell me approximately the square foot distance between your nearest residential abutter and the pool deck?
Sure. So I actually have a photo of where I do know that you guys received a letter from one
Yes.
neighbor. So I did pull up Google Earth. I can give it to you guys if you'd like. It is, if you drive, it's, let me say, I think I printed out that one too.
I did drive past there this morning. It looks very close.
It is. So the thing is, I understand 100% the concerns that any neighbors may have when they see Margaritaville. They might think parrot heads, loud noise, disturbances. But the good thing is that where the pool is, it's actually further than where the live music is. So where the deck is, if she hasn't had any issues now, there won't be any issues in the future. It's the same. It's the same distance as what it was. It's actually further. Where the outdoor bar is going is further than where the deck is to her.
My concern is that there is probably going to be a little bit different clientele. I know you say family-friendly, but then you hear Parrot Head.
So I think it's, I understand when you hear Parrot Head, you might think that it's going to bring the party atmosphere. But Margaritaville actually is extremely, extremely family-friendly. If you go to any place in Florida where where Margaritaville lives, every place is family friendly. There's so many activities and dining and things to do for kids. We don't expect anything different here. I know the brand name, you might think that, but there isn't even, we're not asking to stay out late. We're not asking to stay open later. We're not extending our hours. So it really is remaining exactly the same. We're not seeking any more entertainment that we already have. So operationally, it is staying the same. We're not increasing square footage. It's really just a major cosmetic interior upgrade, and with changes from removing one bar outside and putting it in a different place.
Thank you.
And we're more than happy to give any neighbors our direct lines. The manager of record, Rachel, is here. She has been there for 2 years now. We're more than happy to send her an email. I'll give her my contact, Rachel's contact. If she ever has any issues at any time, just don't call me at 12 a.m., but you can send me an email and I'll get right back to you. Any neighbors, if they have any concerns, we're more than welcome to give them our contact information so that they might feel a little bit more comfortable. But yeah.
Okay. Mr. Flores.
Yeah, just an observation. I find it somewhat of a contradiction that people who are coming to sort of visit and stay in Old Cape Cod are looking for Margaritaville when you would think they'd be going down to Florida, having stayed at a couple of those. They're quiet to a certain degree, but they do also get very loud. And so my concern is that in looking at what the neighbors have sent us in terms of their issues, that somehow there'll be a decibel level reading of how loud that noise is. I think it's a different kind of crowd that's been going to the Cape Codder for years. You had a Harp and Kettle. You had the bar in there that just basically played jazz on Friday nights. It's a total. You're changing it into a total different feel. So my concern is that when I do hear Parrot Heads, it does bring a whole other different kind of crowd. And I'm concerned that the abutters, in terms of decibel levels of noise, that they're being heard. It's our responsibility. And if you think
Absolutely.
about decibel levels, you know, a typical vacuum cleaner puts out 75 decibels of noise. If you look at 60 decibels of noise for long term, it can affect you physically. So take that into consideration when you start playing Cheeseburger.
Absolutely. Well, the decibel levels will not change from what was played last summer to this summer. It will stay the same. There will not be any increase in decibels. It will remain exactly the same. There's not going to be a 10-piece band going on at 10 p.m. I mean, it's still.
But a DJ can crank it up too. Music can still be the volume. I mean, there's a volume control on everything.
I'm gonna let Rachel. It might be better also to hear from someone who runs the operations.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Thank you. So all of the areas.
Wait a minute, could you just state your name, because
Yep. My name is Rachel Thayer. I'm the general manager of the Cape Codder, soon to be Margaritaville Cape Cod, or Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod. All of the entertainment areas that we're talking about right now, the deck, the pool, are actually also flanked by all of our hotel rooms. There's nothing exposed to just the public areas or just the street or just residential areas. So it's in our best interest to actually keep that noise. We have a quiet time at 10 o'clock because we don't want to upset our guests as well that are always flanking because the hotel rooms are all around.
enlighten me
These
about
areas.
what you mean by quiet time at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock is when music needs to be done. Actually, our entertainment is only booked until 9 when we do book it in the summer. And by 10 o'clock, our restaurants are closed, everything's shut down. We're not entertaining beyond that.
So will the new bar on the pool
That will actually close earlier.
earlier than 10 o'clock?
Absolutely. That will adhere to pool hours. Pool hours are 11 to 8. And on Friday and Saturday, weather permitting, we extend possibly until 9. But again, that pool is also accessible only to hotel guests. It is not open to the general public. So that's why we're shifting it from the deck to the pool area to give our hotel guests a more private experience.
Does anyone else have any questions? Officer Kelsey.
Just for information, I did look back a little bit into the records for the Cape Codder, and we're not finding any noise complaints from the Cape Codder in the last several years. The only thing that actually came up, other than calls for service for police matters, other criminal police matters, was, actually, I'm going to take that back. I just got another text. There was one noise complaint in 2022, and it was because of a loud generator. So nothing was because of entertainment. I would like to walk through the property and see where things are moving and see how you are redeveloping existing entities on the property, if that is possible. And I think
Absolutely.
that Mrs. Logan would be interested in doing that as well.
Absolutely, anytime.
Great. Does anyone from the public wish to speak to this application? Yes, ma'am. If you could just come up to the table here and make sure you click on the microphone so the green dot is in your face, and identify yourself for the record and speak into the micro. You can sit down, or if you want, just speak into the microphone.
I've been sitting for a while. I think I'll stand.
But you got to speak into the microphone,
then I'll move
thanks.
the chair. My name is Jacqueline Mahoney, and I live on Finney's Lane. I am one of the residents that the property butts.
Could you use the microphone,
Couple
please?
of, sorry, okay, then I will sit. Couple of questions that I have is, you said that the deck is going to become more of an outside bar, which, you know, as going to a Margaritaville and been to a Margaritaville, I know that that's music, and it's a certain kind of music that'll be playing on that deck. And I don't want to be sitting outside in my deck myself with my grill going and hearing cheeseburger over and over again. Right now, you haven't had any noise complaints from the Cape Codder. They've been a wonderful neighbor. We hear the noise of the kids playing from the pool with the raised roof. We sometimes hear the movie nights or something that's happened in the courtyard. And we don't hear what's happening at that pool. We want to make sure that it stays that way. And we're thinking, is there any thought about putting a privacy fence around the outer parts of your property to block it from any kind of noise going into the residence? Because if you have that Google map, you'll notice that the Cape Codder right now is in the middle of a residential section, right? If you look at all the other Margaritavilles in all of the lands like Orlando and everywhere else that they are, you'll notice that they're in with other resorts, with other industries. And yet you have a good part, probably 20 to 30% of your land butts against residential property. And so that whole idea of, yes, the decimals are not going to change. Well, right now, we're not really complaining about it because we're not hearing that kind of music. Any kind of music will travel. We hear it. We do hear it. But it's not offensive. It's not a problem. But when you start having to listen to the same songs or the rowdiness that's going to come with an outdoor bar, that's where our questions are. I did walk the property. I came on and walked around it so that I could be educated for today. And part of the things that I noticed was that this is going to increase the noise that I'm going to listen to. I don't want to be sitting on my deck grilling and listening to other people having their parties all the time. Even if it ends at 10 o'clock, you said you're in bed by 7, right? I shouldn't have to wait to go to bed at 10 o'clock because I can't leave my windows open because the noise is coming in. And that's why, part of me is sitting here today to kind of understand what is your options to separate this Cape Codder. Changing the name of a restaurant, bringing something that's already inside, that's not so much my concern. My concern is that noise level outside with the music that's going to happen in the pool that has the raised roof. Is the music inside there going to change? Because that we will hear. Right now, we just hear the kids. And that, kids having fun is never a problem, right? But adults screaming, yelling, or having music playing into that pool will be a problem. So I just want to know more about what your plans are for those areas to protect the residents that are around that.
My name is John Mornier. I live in Taunton, Massachusetts. I'm the Vice President of Project Management for Lincris Hotel Corporation. That's the management company for the Cape Codder, soon to be the Margaritaville. The outdoor pool area will not have any live entertainment. We just met with the Margaritaville brand team. The president of Margaritaville was on property yesterday, and there was just an affirmation of our previous decision that there'd be no live entertainment at that pool deck. There will be speakers playing background music, and that music will, comply with all noise ordinances. We're not planning to have a DJ when we do have live entertainment over at the Land Shark Bar. I've noted from your comments that the DJ seems to be a bigger issue. And so the entertainment at the Land Shark Bar will just be, solo guitar, maybe a duo. And again, that's contained within the circle of the buildings. And at the pool, it'll just be the background music. And the pool area is currently on 3 sides surrounded by guest room buildings. And the 4th side is, there's not a building, but there's a fence there. And so that fence will be replaced. But there is not a plan to have a fence on the perimeter of the property, just fence in the pool area. The property has always been a good neighbor, and as Rachel cited, parrot heads are an aging population, by the way, and so
that just cost you the application.
So I include myself in that comment, and so But we're very concerned about our guests. Our guests sleep right on the property, and both the courtyard by the land shark and this pool is surrounded by guest rooms. And at 10 o'clock, as Rachel mentioned, there is quiet time. If people are making noise, we go and approach the room or approach the party and tell them they either need to desist or they need to leave the property.
I think everybody understands that this is a change from a state institution to a new type of venue brand. And the neighbors have every right to be worried about their peace and enjoyment. I assume from Rachel's tenure there and the consistency that will bring, that she will be a point of contact in the event that things go beyond what they should be. They're representing that the hours outside will be basically a 9 o'clock situation with the music ending at 9 o'clock, mindful of the decibel level that will be enforced if you complain. So right now, I think the option is to give them a chance with their understanding of what problems they may face from the neighborhood if there's a problem, and from this board for that matter, and the police department. So we will be very vigilant if there is a complaint to step in and do what needs to be done in order to rectify that situation. Does anybody else have any questions?
If I may, can I
Sure.
add just one more thing? You mentioned that there will be speakers in the outside pool house. So when you have a person who's playing music, usually those speakers are low. When you have an outside bar, usually those speakers are up towards the lights that cover a bar, that cover a pool, that are up higher. Those tend to be able to go over the buildings because of where they're located. And that's really what we're looking for, is to make sure that when you design your bar and when you design what you're doing outside, that you think about, yes, you're not doing live entertainment, but live entertainment tends to not to go as far because of the lowness of those amps and those amplifiers, where now it's going to be in the ceiling, right? You're going to have it on a pole at the top of the roof, and that's where those speakers are going to be. So that's just something I'm asking you to think that through when you're making your design
That's
decisions.
an interesting comment. Yes, sir.
We will have no high-level speakers. The speakers will be ground level, located quite a number of speakers, spreading across the whole area so that the sound level can be low overall but heard by the speaker. And we're actually engaging a professional sound and video company to handle all the programming. And so I will certainly express your concerns. And you'll have Rachel's number. I oversee 30 properties around the country. I have my phone on 24/7, so I'll give you my number as well. And we would be happy to meet with you and walk you through the plans and show you. But ground level and nothing that would project out.
Okay, thank you.
Good. And I'm sure you'll give the sound design team the local regulations. Yes, sir, Mr. Flores.
Yeah, just one final comment. This is all about ambient noise affecting the neighborhood. So it's going to be your responsibility to be sure that whatever that noise level is at whatever decibel, and I mentioned that 50 decibel level in terms of what that sounds like and what impact it has, that when you talk with your consultants who are doing the sound engineering, that they take that under serious consideration.
Absolutely, we will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
No, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Decker.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the application filed by Hyannis LSOF Operating LLC, DBA Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod for a change of DBA as well as the alteration of licensed premises, subject to final approval from the building commissioner as submitted.
All in favor?
Aye.
I second.
Oh, thank you for seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Congratulations. Good luck. Thank you.
Good luck.
Application's been filed by 373 West Main Street, Inc., DBA Jack's Lounge, 373 West Main Street, Hyannis, to add live entertainment to include a three-piece band and karaoke, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 12:45 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. to 12:45 a.m. Morning, afternoon, I guess. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Tim Dupree. I am the manager and co-owner with my aunt Grace.
Grace Horton.
Grace Horton. We've been a family business for over 40 years. As our needs of our customers are changing, we'd just like to expand our entertainment opportunities. As a business that mainly serves locals, we are looking to add karaoke as well as live entertainment. Also, we were looking to possibly expand upon the initial time originally asked for to service the needs of our daytime customers as well as our nighttime customers. We're asking to have entertainment from noon to close on weekends and 1 p.m. To close on weekdays.
Say that again?
Noon to close on weekends and 1 p.m. to close on weekdays. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer.
Mr. Decker?
History has shown, particularly with the licensing board, that we've had some issues with entertainment closing at 12:45. If you'll notice on the other applicants on today's agenda, they close the entertainment at 12.
Okay.
That gives you sufficient time to get your client, your customers out of there and close up, because people can't be hanging around after 1 p.m., as Officer Kelsey has made us well aware of. And I think knocking off the entertainment at 12:45 is a little bit too much.
Okay.
I would certainly approve the 12 o'clock, but 12:45 is, I think, is pushing it.
That's perfectly fine with us.
Yeah, I would second that. We've had issues in the past where the police have come to us relative to live entertainment versus what is considered non-live entertainment, as well as a couple of other problems. So the 12:45 really, I think, pushes the limit, so less than that would be wiser.
And just to concur, your location is in a neighborhood.
Yes.
Ish. And it would probably be better served for an earlier closing.
It won't be loud.
No.
That's what everybody
That's
says.
what they all say.
And it's inside.
Officer Kelsey?
I would say that I have some concerns coming from the police department on this. We've had some issues with this property in the past. They've come before this authority in the past to have conversation about those issues. One of the things that we did discuss was that we were going to have a meeting, and we were going to talk about some changes that could happen and maybe some new ways of looking at things. I reached out to management and ownership several times and never got a response. We've not had that meeting yet. And I have, for the public safety concerns, one of those things was entertainment on the property when they weren't licensed to have entertainment on the property. When asked about a one-day license for that entertainment, the answer that I was given was untruthful. I'm not saying that this should be denied forever, but I would hope that maybe we could have some consideration on having that sit-down prior to this application being voted on.
The application was retroactive after the fact.
If you want to get into that discussion again, we can, and we can pull out the dates, and we can show that you actually applied for the application 10 minutes after I left the property when you told me that you had applied for it prior to. But that can be a different discussion.
Okay. Also, every time you've come in the building, I also have spoke to you directly. I have personally not received any communication from you on a meeting. I would love to have that meeting with you.
Actually, we have had that discussion, and Grace, even last year at the compliance meeting here in this room, you came up to me and said, oh, you know what, I still need to get in touch with you. We need to sit down together. That has not happened.
And you have been in since.
Right.
I've got nothing else to say on the matter.
Does anybody have any questions? Anyone from the public wish to speak to this application? Any discussion?
Well, is this something that perhaps we should put off till next month and give Officer Kelsey an opportunity to meet with these folks?
I would think that would be wise.
I would accept that motion.
Okay.
Mr. Decker, if you could make a motion to that effect, we can move on.
And Mr. Chairman, with regard to Jack's Lounge application, I make a motion that we defer this process of this application until next month,
March 27th.
March 27th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for meeting with him. I appreciate
you.
that. Yeah. An application's been filed by Harbor Club, Inc., DBA Trader Ed's, 11 Willow Street, Hyannis, for a change in manager from Jared Payne to Samuel Hicks. Mr. Kirker.
Good evening. I'm Wayne Kirker. I own Hyannis Marina and Trader Ed's. I've been at the marina for 47 years and built Trader Ed's 1990, so 33 odd years ago. I'm here for Sam Hicks. He was one of three people we were considering for the management position at Trader Ed's, the liquor license manager at Trader Ed's for this coming summer. However, he was offered a fantastic position with a car dealership, and feels as though that would be the best thing for his career. And I was never going to ask him to hold that back. And so I'm here to ask for a continuance.
Erin?
So, right, so for the record, we would probably ask for, just to withdraw the application without prejudice and just resubmit a new application with a new manager. So we can just, the board could move to approve, to withdraw the application without prejudice.
I move to approve the withdrawal of the application without prejudice.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kirker, you're closed now anyways, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We received a letter from Lobster Girl, Lobster Boy, Inc., DBA Raw Bar on Ocean Street, as you heard earlier, at 213 Ocean Street, Hyannis, that they are not renewing their all-alcohol beverages control license, and we have vacated that earlier. We have a one-day application by the Hyannis Film Festival March Movie Series at the JFK Museum, 397 Main Street, Hyannis, 5:30 to 9 p.m. on March 6, 13, 20, and 27. A one-day cinema license and a one-day beer and wine license being poured by two tip-certified individuals.
Hi, I'm Bill Farrell. Nice to see you all again. I'm the managing director of Hyannis Film Festival.
We've done this before.
We have, and this is our March series coming back. We're in a different location. We haven't done beer and wine before, but the truth of the matter is we had so little of it that went out into patrons' mouths in September that we have a lot left over.
We'll see if we can improve that.
We have a low-key crowd.
Yeah. Right.
Retired Margaritaville visitors.
Recovering.
Recovering.
Does anybody have any questions?
Now, just to be clear, this is for 4 events. If I need to file 3 more, I'm happy to do that. But this is a weekly. It's at the Kennedy Museum. We open at 5:30, show from 6 to 9. And
Can I ask what the movies are?
I hope everybody in the room will come, of course. The first one is Two for the Road. Some of us are old enough to remember that. And then we're showing the Hidden Figures. It's Women's History Month, so the running theme is that these are leading women in all these films, women who have won the Oscar or won the Golden Globe. So Two for the Road has Audrey Hepburn, of course, and then Hidden Figures has 3 prominent black women, most of whom have won major awards. And then we're doing The Fabulous Baker Boys with the stunning Michelle Pfeiffer. And then we're doing finally Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence, which is a sci-fi film. So we'll see how that goes over with our crowd.
Thank you.
Does anyone from the public wish to speak to this application? Seeing none?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 4 special one-day beer and wine, as well as 4 special one-day entertainment licenses for the Hyannis Film Festival March Movie Series to be held on March 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th as submitted.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
all. Hope to see you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
An application filed by Cape Concepts LLC, DBA Cove Coastal Kitchen, 615 Main Street, Unit 14 in Hyannis, for a new daily live and non-live entertainment license. Live amplified music up to 4 performers in 4 pieces, including dancing and karaoke. The proposed hours of live music are daily from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., non-live entertainment to include recorded music, conversation level, and 6 TVs, with non-live entertainment to be daily 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Do we have anybody on that? Guess not. Moving right along.
We want to move to continue that
Continue, yes.
to March 27th.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to move the application by Cape Concepts LLC, DBA Cove Coastal Kitchen, to March 27th.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, now as a matter for discussion, I believe we have handled all the other matters as a discussion regarding Auto Cape 61 Falmouth Road, Hyannis. It has a Class 2 auto dealer license regarding recent complaints. Officer Kelsey.
Could you come to the microphone? Great.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Ekopian. I am representative of Auto Cape. It's my brother is owner manager, so he's not here. He's on business trip, so he asked me to take day off and to represent him here.
Okay. So the reason that I've asked the licensing authority to have a conversation with the management of Auto Cape is because of the number of calls for service that we've had to this car dealership in the last year. We've been called there to this dealership 9 times, I believe it is now, some for calls for service, some for follow-ups. And the theme is consistent, and it's rude and antagonizing behavior toward customers, with the manager owner, being your brother, yelling and swearing at customers, threatening to throw them off the property, threatening to throw a police officer off the property who responded to the property for disturbance, and then as well as recently having a discussion with a family that was actually there concerning a purchase that they had made and repairs that they were looking for to their vehicle. And while I'm very careful to tell the management and the ownership that I'm not here to mitigate or litigate your civil issue, the disturbance is a problem. They have a staff member who is their lot attendant, who has also been involved in some of these yelling and swearing incidents as well. So it's a behavior that is continuing. Their new manager, who I've spoken with twice recently, he has been very cooperative. He has actually even gone above and beyond to try to mitigate certain situations. Even the last incident, the family that was there, who are sitting here in the room today, they even said that the manager was very professional toward them. So really, this situation that is continuing is about the owner himself and about the lot attendant. In addition to that, we've been there for compliance checks in the past where not everything was in compliance. We did do a second visit, and they had basically been able to take care of things, which we were happy with. During this past incident, I was concerned because the actual deal for the vehicle that was in question, they couldn't even find the paperwork for it. So that is
You mean like the title, registration, and all that?
correct. And actually the sales deal. I mean, they had no record of it.
Excuse me about this deal, the last one that we have case today?
Correct.
It's in the office right now.
It is in the office.
Yes.
Last week, I did go back and speak with the manager again. He said that he has found it since, but they were unable to find it that day.
Very strange, because I was asked to come and pick them up. I'm sorry, it was my mistake. I didn't have time to drive to the office and here. I was afraid to be late, so I just drove here. So I don't know about other cases, but I asked detailed about this case, what happened, because I'm going to represent it. I should know what happened. So
Let me just so that you're clear on this. The dealership has not been asked to come here to speak because of one incident. I would not ask for the dealership to come and be in front of the licensing authority because of one incident. That doesn't rise to this level. It's because of several incidents with similar types of activity. That's why we're here today. And that's why we wanted your brother, who is the owner, who has been directly involved in these situations, here today to explain what has happened in the past and what his plan is in the future. So while I am sure that you have been brought up to speed on this one incident, and thank you for taking your time for being here, I don't know if you're going to be able to satisfy the questions of the overall problem.
I know. He's very sorry that he can't be here today. He said if it's possible, we can do FaceTime with him. He's available. He's just not on Cape Cod.
Let's do this. Why don't you have a seat? We'll hear from these other individuals about the experience that they had. My inclination at the moment, subject to other members' agreement, would be that we continue this matter to the next meeting so your brother can be here. Because I might suggest strongly that he bring the manager with him at that time, so that we can have an overall continued discussion. But if you could have a seat, we'll let these individuals speak to what they experienced so that they don't have to come back if they don't want to the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Milas. This is my little sister, Natasha Milas, and my older sister, Tammy Domino.
All right, so just speak into the microphone, yeah.
Sorry. So we went to Cape Auto, the Auto Cape place. She purchased a car from them. Within 2 weeks of purchasing the car, it starts bucking in the middle of the road. It just completely stops. So she brings it back and she tells them something's wrong. They told us that they brought it to another car place. They took a car for how long? A day. Yeah. They told us that we called every car place. When we called them, they told us it was at this car place. It wasn't at that car place. They have no recollection of it. Then they told us it was another place. They were like, oh no, we just did a physical, we didn't look or take anything apart. We just walked around the car, seen that the lights weren't on, and that was it. So I said, that is not a reasonable way. This is someone's safety. This is not just her safety. These are people on the general public safety as well. I explained that to them. The manager was amazing. He was frustrated because he didn't know what to do. The owner wasn't answering. So we finally get on the phone with the owner, and he must have been frustrated that the manager was calling him a couple of times, because I was like, call back. We need to know what's going on. She cannot safely drive this car on the road. He gets on the phone. He says, when I'm talking, you shut the F up and let me speak. I said to him, that was unacceptable. We exchanged our words. I told him, I'm going to be honest. I told him, I wish you were here in person, because this would have resulted differently, because the man that I lay next to could never speak to me in this manner. So then he starts cussing and he starts screaming, and then the law attendant was so disrespectful. He comes in, he's pointing his fingers, he's telling me, put my fingers down, I need to do this, you need to get off the lot. So I told the customers, I said, I'll tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie. This man is selling unsafe cars. When we took it to the mechanics told us that they maliciously turned off the engine light. So the ABS system, is what keeps stopping the wheel bearings and stuff from moving from the car. So he told us he fixed it. They have yet to give us anything that says they got this fixed. There was no reports, so we were like, let's see their sales reports. Let's see like what you have, so we can go move forward. We would like to get another car because this one's not safe. Like, we've got it to mechanics. It's less than 30 days of having this car, and
This is like the first week I even got the car.
The
There was
first-
already issues.
there was so many issues with. So like I said to my sister, if I knew that this is where she was going to get the car, I would have told her never buy from them, because I had a previous experience years ago when I was going to buy a Saab from them, and they spray painted the bottom of the car. But when I brought it up to the lift, there was nothing but rust under the car. So my daughter's grandfather brought it back and told them, this is unacceptable. This car is so unsafe. He told us that there was 3 cars that we went to go look at, that we were not allowed to drive these cars off the property because they have wheel bearings, ABS issues, and brakes. So while we're there discussing, talking to him, another 2 gentlemen come in, and he tells them that he gives them the keys, the same cars that he told us that we couldn't test drive, that was not safe for us to drive. He let another customer take the same car off the lot and go drive around. They brought it right back, and they said the same exact thing. These are issues. This is an issue. So he called the cops and told the cops that we were disrupting the customers and telling them things. We weren't telling them anything. We were just simply telling them he's selling unsafe cars.
And he told my sister she just had bad luck with this car.
It's just bad luck.
So, I guess, what's the status of the car at this point?
She can't drive it.
But you still have it?
She has it because he said he won't do anything. He said he's not doing anything. It's just sitting there. So she still has to pay for it. He won't. We sent him a letter to either give us like the money back that she's put into it. So when we took it to Nissan,
We took it to 2 diagnostics.
It's wheel bearings and ABS system.
so as soon as we brought it to those places, less than 30 days, it's $2,600 to fix the car.
Okay.
I think that's bizarre, especially with the disrespect. The level of disrespect, I would never talk to anybody like that.
Have you filed anything under the lemon law?
He told us that it wasn't, we weren't allowed, we couldn't do
Like
it.
at 98,000 somehow.
He said he
only gave it to like 100,000 now before it wasn't that much.
But before the mileage, before anything about the mileage, my car had issues within the first week I
And
got
she
it.
told
And I took it to the diagnostic, and I brought it back to them a
All
few
right.
few
Let's,
So, Chairman,
yes, ma'am.
if I may?
Yes.
I just want to clarify that when I had conversation with both management and with the customers, we did make it very clear that the police department nor would the licensing authority get into the civil issue, the civil component of this, because we don't have that authority. I did give them advice as far as contacting the Consumer Services Program, and they could help them with those types of issues. So I just want to make sure that you're aware that while we're hearing the story, there's nothing that the police department or the licensing authority can do to act on that civil component of this issue.
So we did send them a legal letter that had to be certified, and it stated this was the law, this is what needed to be done. We took the right legal actions, and they haven't no response to it.
All right. Well, consistent with Officer Kelsey's statement and advice, I strongly suggest that you continue to follow up with the Consumer Protection Agency of the Attorney General's office. They manage the lemon law issues. And as he said, our only purview, if you will, is over the license to sell cars at this location. And so I can't settle the dispute between you as to this particular car, but it could affect the license. So I do appreciate you coming in and indicating what's transpired.
I'm just concerned, how many people's safety has to be at risk from this car company? Just my 2 experiences alone with the spray painting underneath, and it's all rust. Can you imagine if I brought my children in that car, what would have happened to the person that could have hit me or I could have hit? because of those issues. That's safety.
I understand that, and that's certainly something that we'll potentially delve into with respect to the continuation of the license. So I appreciate you coming in and doing that.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
First of all, I'm sorry that happened to you guys. So, like me, always have problem with cars. Even my brother has dealership. That's our life. Nobody can change it. So the fact is, they bought car, and when they came back with issue, they were out of warranty.
Well, I'm not going to
That's the fact.
Again, I can't control the civil issues between you. Whether I agree with you or not, it's not what we're here for. I think the general discussion that needs to happen with your brother and the manager is how these issues are going to be dealt with, not only in the manner that they're dealt with, but with the repairs that they may need to be dealt with, and the record keeping that needs to be happening with respect to the operation, okay?
Can I add two more things?
Sure.
Inspection not done in Auto Cape. It's separate place that inspection done, and they decide if it's safe car to drive or not. First of all, it's not done in Auto Cape.
Wait a minute, let me just make sure I understand you. If you get a car in, you bring it to another place.
Yes.
They inspect the car.
Yes, and let the people drive it or not. Otherwise, you're not going to have the sticker on the car. And you can't drive your car without inspection. It's not done in
all right.
Auto Cape.
Again, I'm not going to get into that, but that inspection is an entirely different type of inspection than the operation of the vehicle in a more in-depth mechanical manner. So I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that that's the issue. I think deeper repairs have to be considered with these vehicles being sold, but again, not our purview. So I'm going to entertain a motion that we continue this to the next meeting, and we would expect your brother and the manager to be here for that meeting, okay?
Can I add last thing? So we had the record on the parking lot that the lady were screaming, yelling, talking to our client that leave this space, they are scammers, and it was before she talked with my brother. And so the manager was really nice to her, she said, her words. Why she was doing that? Because he was trying to explain her that she's out of warranty, and then she was upset about it, and she started to curse and do all that stuff.
All right, again, I wish we could settle the dispute. We can't. I think from what you've said and from what they've said, maybe the manager is the key to the solution here going forward with your brother's cooperation.
Sure.
But in any event, we're going to continue this matter to the next meeting under Mr. Flores' motion, expecting your brother and the manager to be here to discuss it further. Do I have
Second.
a second? Well, you can't second your own motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Chair,
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to add to that.
27th.
March 27th.
27th.
I just wanted to add for the record that I know that it was the lot attendant that was the issue. So perhaps the lot attendant, the manager, and the owner can come, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just for further clarification, I actually did respond to this call personally. It was sent out to patrol, and I heard it come over the air. And I responded, so I was there and did participate in the conversation between both parties. And she is correct that there was conversation in the parking lot with the family members. And I did do an incident report on this, and I will have that available for the March 27th meeting. I did note that in the incident report as well. So in all fairness, I want to make sure that everyone is aware that that part has been documented.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If you want, I can talk to you after, and I can explain to you how you can get a copy from the police department.
All right, and then we have some information from Mr. Anthony on Gimme a Gimme.
The Highness Golf Course, for a matter of record, had an incident a little over a year ago where a pipe burst and made it unusable. We continue to negotiate with the insurance company on the scope of the repairs. Unfortunately, the conversation has bogged down in an obscure section of our insurance policy which allows for code compliance upgrades to be paid for by the insurance company. Needless to say, given the high price of the repairs, the insurance company is somewhat reluctant to want to commit to make all of those repairs, suggesting that some of the code compliance does not need to be met. So we don't have a clear path forward yet as to how we're going to settle this so that we can actually move to final design, bidding, and construction. We are at 95% design, which was necessary in order to help identify what the number was going to be. It does mean that Highness Golf will be operating out of its temporary trailers, and we anticipate that the food truck that was there last year will be serving the public as it did last year out of necessity. We're also going to be reaching out because of requirements of the lease with the former concessionaire now that we have some clarity as to timing of when this might proceed to the next phase in order to figure out how we're going to manage that. I wish I had better news. I was hoping that as an update we would be able to have clear indication as to when this was going to move forward, but it seems to have bogged down a bit in the details.
And I know the last time we discussed this, we jostled with the continuation of the license to the vendor. Has that agreement been reached?
It has not reached a final conclusion. There is some continuing discussion and evaluation of the terms and conditions of the lease to see what rights the concessionaire might have to move forward with the option year. Even though in my mind it's pretty clear, they have an opportunity to kind of make their case as to the language and what it actually means. So we're hoping to get this resolved, as March is a key deadline in that lease.
Great.
So it looks like activity as far as opening season goes, or spring season, is going to be backlogged, right?
I believe golf operations will be 100% available. People will be able to play. The pro shop will be there. The staff will have a similar temporary office the way that they did before. The food truck, if it continues, will continue to serve the way it did last year. But once we get to construction, there could be anywhere between 6 to 12 months of actual construction, and at some point you start wondering, are we going to be ready for 2025, quite honestly.
Did I understand you to say that the insurance company suggested there were certain code requirements that be addressed?
Don't need to be addressed.
So, for example, when a sufficient percentage of the value of the building is impacted by a project, if it's a $3 million building and you've got a 30% threshold, as soon as you hit $1 million worth of repairs, all of the grandfathered code compliance issues have to be addressed. And we carry coverage in the town's insurance policy that takes that kind of a situation and then addresses it. What that then does is many times moves you up into another $600,000 or $700,000 worth of stuff that you now have to do. For example, sprinklers, ADA compliance. There may be other code violations that were fine before because they were grandfathered. But violations might be a strong word. What there might be is a need for code compliance that is grandfathered, means you can kind of tumble along the way things were. And that building was built in the 70s, so the code was very different back then. But as soon as you reach that threshold, you have to start to address those issues. And we're working very closely with Brian Florence. In fact, the town went and petitioned the ADA Accessibility Board to put in a limited lift instead of an elevator because of the multi-floor. So in many ways, that saves several $100,000 for the insurance company, as they don't have to pay for an elevator. But this is the normal give and take on an expensive insurance claim that comes back and forth. The insurance company is doing its due diligence to try to protect its bottom line and not pay for things unnecessarily. At the same time, Chris Ganella is to be applauded, working with Mark Marinuccio, because there's about $750,000 worth of work that is going to be done by the town while the walls are opened, while the building is under construction. So things that don't fall into the claim that are then going to be fixed. And that's all being brought forward in the capital improvement plan that'll be appearing before the town council in the next 45 days.
David, what's the ultimate cost, projected cost of this renovation and rebuilding, less what the town is putting in?
So currently, the construction estimates are somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million, with $750,000 believed to be the town's portion, and I'm using round numbers.
So we're into it for, say, a third, and the others two-thirds, roughly?
A third, yeah.
And you said $3 million, right?
$3 million total is, I think, the number that we saw the last time we had a 95% budget.
Thank you.
Want to finance it? No, you.
Do I? I could if you wanted
to. Okay, thank you. That's disappointing. Officer Kelsey, with respect to the Cape Cod Spring Carnival.
I saw no issue with the event. Just made a recommendation for police details because of the size.
And do you have a number that you want, or do you have a?
Did we talk about numbers?
I'll look at the minutes from last year, and I can't remember if it was 2 or 4. And I believe that you were calling for more service on the weekend than on the weekdays.
And that sounds familiar to me. I think it was probably like
Can we
2 during the
say-
weekdays, 4 in the weekend, something like that.
We've done this in the past.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reoccurring thing, correct?
It is. It's an
Yeah.
annual.
Yeah.
They happened to pull it last year. They got approved, but they never proceeded. I would think we were safe to ask for police detail as per 2023.
And yes, and that's sort of the conversation that we had. So I apologize for not having the exact
Oh,
number.
that's all right, as long as it's the same as 2023. I just thought, I got the sense that it was more than 2023, that you wanted, officer.
No,
I'm not recollecting that.
Okay.
I just wanted to be sure it was caught since it was on a consent agenda. And I believe there was another event as well. The Hyannis Sound event at the Barnstable
Correct.
Performing Arts Center. And that was due to the the volume of attendees as well. And we're looking for 1 police detail, yes?
Yeah, just 1 police detail. And the rationale behind that is that when we have other events there with large numbers of people, I'll use like Cape Symphony as an example, we have police and fire details there for that. I don't know if they'll sell at the house like the Symphony does, so I haven't asked for as many police details as the Symphony has.
Okay.
What is the Hyannis Sound event again?
It's a cappella men's group.
Where will they be performing?
It's at the high school, right?
Is that the high school?
Yeah.
As usual, okay.
All right. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, except with the subject to Officer Kelsey's recommendations for Hyannis Sound and the Cape Cod Spring Carnival as to the police and fire details that may be required.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will take a motion with respect to this meeting being adjourned until March 27th.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.